Welcome to Opinionation, the King Daddy Show. I am your host, King Daddy. Today, first of all, I just want to explain that I am not back in the studio yet. My wife is supposedly going back to work the 1st of July, so we got about another month of this that we'll have to do without the studio, but I really would like to say that I've enjoyed having her at home, and if I could have her at home every single day, I could find alternative studio ideas and different things to do, because I do like her being here, and more importantly, our 4 babies like her being here because they love their mama. They wagging it every time they see her, wagging them tails and panting and jumping around. They just love mommy. So anyway, like I said, we've got about another month, and she should be going back to work if she goes back. Not 100% sure what they're doing these days. You never know. This is some pretty fucked up shit, which we'll talk about a little bit today. One of the things that I want to talk about today is there are 2 sides to this thing. And I think in some weird form or fashion, both sides are a little bit of the victim, if you want to call anyone a victim. You have those who are running around with masks on, screaming at other people who don't have a mask on, telling them that they need to put one on. Get back, you're too close to me, you're not 6 feet, the social distancing mask police. And then you've got the other side of the coin, is you have the people who own all these businesses that desperately want to go back to work. And I'm going to explain in a minute why they're both victims. So let's go with group 2 first, because their victimhood, or whatever you want to call it, is a little bit more obvious. They're victims because their livelihoods have been shut down. They don't have any money coming in. Most of them are unaware that the unemployment that they're getting is not going to last forever. But yet they're being given no answers as to when we could possibly open everything back up and get them back to work. And also, too, they're a victim of fear, because these government sanctions have made them so afraid that only a small handful of less than probably 0.5% of the people in this country have dared to stand up to their tyrannical governors and open their business and just tell them to fuck off. This is my business. It's what I do for a living. I know how to be safe. Get the fuck away from me. Because they're making you actually think that they've imposed some weird form of martial law on you and your business, and they have not done that. These are government ordinances, not laws. They are basically a decree from the governor. They say it's science-based. I don't know, because half the science we've been hearing has been incorrect. The numbers that they've touted off to us over the past 3 months are incorrect. So you don't really know what to believe, other than they can't still go back to work. Their business is closed and they don't have any money coming in, and they have employees who are relying on them for payroll and benefits that they're not getting right now. So then you have the other side of the coin, the mask wearers who go around social distance policing everybody. As mad as they make me, they're victims as well. because they have allowed themselves to become sheep of the media. They believe the hype so close to the cuff that it has ingrained itself in them to the point where they live the hype. Everything they talk about is the hype. And nobody's making light of the coronavirus. I just believe that there's a lot of things that are going on that are so out of proportion. And let me just give you the facts of why I believe they're out of proportion. They are closing down what they call non-essential business. But you are allowed to freely roam around in Walmart, Target, the grocery store, Lowe's, Home Depot, and big box stores that hold 1,000 customers at a time, and they can't see their own stupidity in this. Because even the government knows they can't shut it all down. Because we have to have food, and we have to have supplies, and we have to have the things that we need just to generally live. So even the government is smart enough to realize that they can't shut it all down. So who do they pick on? The individual business owner that they have made things difficult for since the beginning of time. They're not going to pick on these huge corporations that have all this money to fight back. They're going to pick on the little guy who the only way that he could fight is if he were to start an actual fight. Which leads me back over to the other group again. The ones who were in the streets screaming that the government needs to open their business. Here's my take on that. Both sides, the mask-wearing social distance police and the open my business now protesters, are all pussies. The mask wearers are obviously pussies. That's a give and take. And I'm not saying that everybody who wears a mask is a pussy. I'm talking about the ones who are the social distance police. There are people with health issues and things that I believe wearing a mask is probably, even if the masks don't really work that well, probably more beneficial for them than not wearing one. But the reason why the other group is a pussy is because they don't realize that they have the power to open their business, to do what they need to do, to go back to work, to bring their employees that feel comfortable back to work, to make everything clean, everything germ-free as possible, and continue on and at least recoup some of what they've lost. I can understand the closing of the businesses during the what they call the flattening of the curve phase. But we're 3 months in and these people still have their shit closed. Now I realize most states have started opening up some. But these little mom and pop businesses are still hurting. They're regulated now to the point where now they're going to work for basically free because they can't see enough customers to make their businesses thrive like they once did. But they had the power and still have the power all along to go in their business, unlock the door, turn the sign around to open, and do their thing. Is everybody going to get arrested? Are they going to come lock up and citation the entire country? You know, band together, get a network together and do a news conference and say, We're going to open. There's nothing you can do about it. We're not going to close, and we're not going to pay your stupid fines. And everybody be on the same page in solidarity with one another, except for the ones who don't feel safe. The government will not attack everybody. They're not going to come after you all because it's just not feasible for them to do that. They don't have enough manpower to come in and sanction and shut you all down. They just don't do it. There's not enough police in this country. I guess they could roll the National Guard out and sit in the middle of the street and get the guns out and sit there in a tank and dare you to open your door, but they're not going to do that. People are going to come out and they're going to go to your business. Those same people who are roaming around inside of Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, you don't think they get hungry and want their hair cut? They do. You don't think some of those people would rather go to your local hometown hardware store that sells the exact same shit that they sell at Lowe's and Home Depot? That they would rather go there and would go there if they were open instead of into the big box store with 1,000 customers breathing all over everything? Hang a sign on your door that says when you come in the store, please wear a mask, if that makes you feel better, and open your business. You don't have to do this. There's no way in hell that they can make you do anything that you don't want to fucking do. It's ridiculous to think it. But they put so much pressure and so much hardship on you mentally through the news media that you cower like a puppy getting squirted with a water hose. And I'm just here to tell you that it's not right that they can do this to you and get away with it. Stop it. Stop it now. If you have a restaurant that seats 50 people, make accommodations to safely sit 50 people. Do not make accommodations to sit 25 people and lose money and throw away food. If you're a haircut place and you do 200 haircuts a day, don't settle for 100 haircuts. Let your people make money. I go to Great Clips and get my haircut. When I used to get my haircut, I don't get my haircut anymore. But when I used to get my haircut, I went to Great Clips. The chairs are more than 6 feet apart. And there's a partition between each booth. Just wipe everything down. Don't do beard trims. Make them wear a mask. You wear a mask. It's not hard. Nobody has to take away anybody's livelihood to make this shit happen. It is going to happen organically. You can already see a small movement where it's happening organically and people are starting to defy. Why? Because it's been 3 months and their shit's still closed and they're not making any money. And they're tired of it. I am sick and tired myself of cutting on the TV, and now you see television commercials where they're wearing a damn mask in a television commercial and reminding you to socially distance and saying bullshit like we're all in this together. We're not all in this together because I'm at my goddamn house with just me and my wife. I'm not in all this together because you can't go anywhere to be in it together. You can't rely on your own country of people to do what needs to be done based on suggestion instead of order. They didn't even give us a chance. They slapped down this decree without ever giving us the opportunity to prove whether we could or could not do it. because they just assume right off the bat that we can't. And I don't understand why, again, I will keep repeating this, why we have allowed the media and the local government to put us in the position to lose every damn thing we own. If I owned a business right now, I guarantee you I would be open. I would be open. I would have plexiglass up in front of my cashier space. Every convenience store in town now has plexiglass up where you can't breathe on the cashier. They're still open, but I'm just telling you for an example that other businesses could use this same model and put the plexiglass up between you and the customer and leave a little slide out space for the transfer of funds, and wear gloves if you feel uncomfortable and inclined to do so. You know how to be safe. If you own a business, you are an adult. You're not a child. You don't have to be led by the hand into doing what's right. You should know to do what's right. And I can guarantee you that staying locked up in your house and losing everything you own and getting behind on your rent and getting behind on your light bill is not the right thing to do. Because let me tell you, when all this is over and they finally tell you that you can go back to work, whatever bills you have gotten behind on while this whole thing was going on, while you think the government has your back and they don't, that rent's going to come due, those bills are going to come due, and those people are going to want their money, and they're going to want it now, not later. So you need to get yourself in there, and you need to start making some money, because you're going to get stuck paying all these bills. And even if you're able to get your business back open, you'll end up losing it, if not more, in the long run, because you're so behind on everything. Think about it. Have you ever been so far behind that you just can't catch up? That's what they're doing to you. They are putting you in a position where you can't catch up. And you have all these people screaming, well, it's too soon to open the businesses. Well, it's not too soon if you're going to lose everything you have. The time is now. The time was 2 months ago. For some of you who will never open your business again because you won't be able to afford it, the time has come and gone already. Think about that. I saw something on the news earlier that some 40% of mom and pop businesses won't be able to afford to reopen after this. But Walmart and Sam's Club and Target and all those people are making more money now than they ever have because of their online sales and their in-store sales. Think about that. Amazon getting richer and richer and richer because you're having all this stuff delivered to your house. I've had to do it because nothing's open. So I understand. I understand what you're going through. You know, my family's had businesses before. We know what it's like to go through tightness, but never a tightness like this. This is unreal, and you didn't do it. It was done to you. You may as well have been raped and pillaged by the government, because that's what they've done. They have raped and pillaged you and stolen your livelihood, but you've allowed it. If you have any concerns or questions or thoughts on this subject and you want to get back with me, you can get me at Opinionation84 on Twitter or Opinionation84@gmail.com for the internet, for the web email. This is King Daddy. Thank you very much. And y'all have a great afternoon.